Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's 2023. I can't believe it. Last year went by so fast. We're fixing to start our next block of the month with Peggy's quilting, and this one's going to be a lot of fun. I still have not gotten my other block of the months put together yet. I was kind of working on them, but then I got excited about a couple of other projects, and so I'll get there. I will get them done, I promise, and I'll show you all. So for this one, we're going to try to get it done probably by October. So it's going to be about 20 blocks. So, just depending on, you can make it 16 or you could do it 20, whatever size you want to make it. You could make it even more if you wanted to do double up your blocks. You could do 40 and make it probably close to a king size queen with your borders. However you wanted to do it. So we're calling it is Mystery Star. And the reason we're calling it that is, so every single block is going to have this star frame, which I'm going to show you how to do today. And then we will insert a different block on the inside of that. That will be the mystery block every month, twice a month. I'll try to get 2 a month done. That way we can try to get this done by October. So yeah, so we're going to make the star frames, and what I would suggest, or you could do it any way you want to, you could scrap it up. I'm going to use the same fabric for all of my star blocks, for all of my star frames for my blocks, and then use different colors for the inserts. But I would suggest going ahead and getting a bunch of these made up ahead of time, and then that way you can just sit down, do the insert real quick, and yeah, have your blocks done. Now the inserts are just going to be 6 inches, so they're going to be small blocks, which something new for me. Not really new, but I don't really do a whole lot of small blocks. But anyway, we're going to do this. I think this one's going to be a lot of fun. Peggy has come up with some really fun little blocks. They're just going to be really, really fun. So I am going to show you how we're going to make the star frames today. Then we're also going to do our first insert. Our first insert is called a double square, and it is going to end up looking like that. So kind of like an hourglass, I guess, similar. It'll be easy though. We're gonna do this. So the directions will be in Peggy's quilting group in the files, and I will also have a link down below for a was it DocuShare or something, where I share the document, the links, the written instructions. Sorry, blah blah. So for your star frame, this is the first thing we're going to do. Like I said, I'll show you to do this right now, and then after that, you can refer back to this video or however you want to do it, but I'm not going to show you the frames each and every single video. We'll be doing the inserts after that. I am going to do the frame today and the first insert, so we'll get our first block done. Your block should finish out at 12.5 inches unfinished. 12 inches finished, depending on how you prefer to say that. All right. So let's get started on the frame. So you're going to need 2 fabrics, your background, and whatever color you want your star points to be. So your background, you're going to need 4 3.5-inch squares and 4 4-inch squares. And then for your star point blocks, you're going to need 4 4-inch squares. Now what I'm going to do, I've got a whole bunch of this color black fabric, so I'm just going to make all my star points out of this black, and then I can put whatever colors on the inside, and it's going to go with it. So I won't make the same mistake I did on the Eleanor Burns by trying to use the fat quarter and then running out of fabric, and anyway, scratch that. Scratch it. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to draw a line on the back of our 4-inch squares, and we are going to be making some half square triangles. So I'm going to bend you down here where you can see. Let me get everything out of the way. There we go. And something else I did, I bought a 1/4-inch foot for my Juki that has the guide on it. Best thing I've ever done. I mean, I can get a 1/4 inch, but consistency, I can't stay really consistent. With the guide on there, stay super consistent. So I love it. All right, so I've got my line drawn, and what we're going to do is make half square triangles, which most of y'all should know how to do it. So we're going to match these up, and then we're going to sew a 1/4 inch away on each side of that drawn line right there. So just turn it around and sew this other side. we are trimming these down, so, you know, 4 inches was perfect to be able to trim these down. So, let me bring you over here and we'll trim them. And I'm going to try this year to get an overhead type of a camera system set up so that you guys can see a whole lot better of what I'm doing, rather than what we're doing here. So anyway, we're going to, that is not blood, by the way, that's dye. I just looked at that, I was like, oh my gosh, I already cut my finger. Slice it right there on the drawn line to give us 2 half square triangles. Okay, now you can square these up however you want. I'm using the block lock ruler, so I am going to press these to the dark side open. Now if you're using some other, like oh, there's different square up tools. Some of them you press these open, some of them you square up before you press. So just whichever method is working for you, use that method. Okay, and then we're going to square these up to 3.5 inches. So let me turn this here. So there's 3.5. I'm going to have to trim both sides of this, so just square them up. Like so. Oop. Okay, there we go. And you will need 8 of these little squares, or half square triangles. Okay, so now that you have all 8 of those, we are going to lay these out. And to make our frame for our block. So you're going to have 2 background squares going to go into the corners. Let's see here. This one's going to go the background down to the left, down and to the right. Just imagine you have a block here. Just pretend for a minute. Let me trim off this little dog ear here. I missed it. Alright, that one's going to go, let's see, yeah, like that. And like that. So basically you want the white to come to a point, to a V, kind of like a flying geese, which I guess you could make flying geese for these if you wanted to. But this is pretty simple. Alright, there we go. Okay, so there's my star block. Whoops. There we go. Okay, there we go. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and sew this row together. And sew this row together, and then sew just these 2 together, and then set them aside. So I'm going to do it just by the row so that I don't get anything mixed up on myself, because y'all know how I am about getting things mixed up. So we're just going to sew down 1/4 inch. And I'm going to stop and put the next one on. And I'll repress this seam. I want to nest these seams right here, so I'm just folding that one over. When I press it, I'll fix it. And then the background square. Yeah, that foot that I was mentioning, you know, my seams and stuff are so much more consistent, and my blocks go together so much better. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, it's just made it better for me. Alright, so then I'm going to do the 2 sides. And so these 2 go like this. So I'll just flip them over here and we'll sew them. And like I said at the beginning of the video, you know, you could make up a whole bunch of these. And have them all ready to go for your inserts. For you could do your, you know, all 20 or however many you were going to do for your particular quilt. And then you just do your insert and just got to put that in there, and it's just an easy peasy deal. So I'm just finger pressing that. All right, and now I'm going to do the other side. And then we'll do the bottom. And like I said, I'm going to flip this one seam. I'll repress that and straighten it up. That way I can get them to nest really nicely. All right, and we'll do the bottom row, and then we'll get them. I'll get them pressed, and like I said, I'm just going to set these pieces aside because we're fixing to make our insert, and then we can put the entire block together. And I will be right back with you. Okay, so the next block, which is going to be our insert that goes in our frame, is called the double square. You're going to need 2 colors. You're going to need, from each one, you're going to cut 2 4-inch squares. So this is an easy block. I'm using these 2 particular colors here. This quilt would be an amazing scrap buster because these blocks are all 6 inches, so lots of the pieces are going to be really small. So if you got a ton of scraps, this would be a great way to use a lot of them up. So cut them into 4 inches, and we're going to draw a line on the back of the 2 lighter colored ones, or darker, either one, but on 2 of the same colors, you're going to draw a line, and we're basically going to make half square triangles to start. So let me bend you down here. I'm really excited for this one. I think this one's going to be so much fun. Okay, so you're going to place them right sides together and line them up. Let me get this out of the way here. All right, and then sew down 1/4 of an inch from that drawn line on each side. And we are going to trim these down again, so no worries if your seam isn't perfect. Just, you know, a scant would work either way. All right, and oh boy, just like before, I'm going to bring you around here. We are going to cut these apart and square them to 3.5 inches. You will need 4 half square triangles. Now I square after I iron with the block lock, so I'm going to press this open to the dark side. Like so. Oops, wrong side. Yeah, I just grabbed these 2 fabrics out of my scrap bin. I was like, hey, this works perfect. Works perfect. All right, so then we're going to square these up to 3.5 inches. So whichever squaring method and tool that you prefer to use, you use that. Whatever makes sense to you. Since I've went over here to the block locks, I can't believe I could square up before, but it's like it just was not really. I wasn't getting really accurate squaring because the rulers did not make sense to me, and I had to think too much about them. This one, I don't have to think. I just put it on there, look at the lines, line it up. It's good to go. All right, so you're going to do this to your other set of squares also because you need 4 of these half square triangles. Okay, so now we're just going to kind of lay them out like an hourglass. So you're going to have 2 darks going in and 2 darks going out, just like that. And it's just 4 patch at this point, so we'll sew this together. And I will just chain piece these. I didn't look to see. I think these should be 6 inches, 6.5, maybe 6.5 inches. I think they're supposed to be 6.5. We'll check it. We'll measure it when we get done. All right, and I'm going to just do one seam one way, one seam the other way, and then flip that over and nest your center seam there because that is going to show, and make sure everything's lined up. There's our little block. So let's go over here and press it, and then we'll bring our star legs in. I'm going to press from the back first, kind of get things going the way I want them to go. And then we'll give it a good press. pretty sure this is going to be 6.5. Let me... Mine is just like a smidge under 6.5. Right? Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, yep, 6.5. Okay. Yep. So your block should be 6.5. If it's a little bigger than 6.5, trim it down now. All right. Okay. So then we're going to bring our star legs back over. Sorry about my reaching across you there. So this is going to go here. These go on the sides. This is going to go here. And this is going to go here. And this is going to go here. So there's our first star. So I'm going to sew these sides to my insert block first. And then we will add the rows and we'll have our block done. Yay, our first block. How exciting. This is, like I said, some of these blocks are so cute. Y'all are just going to love it. Well, I hope you do. I do. So far. All right. So that seam there, I'm going to have to go that way with it. We'll flip it around and remember that your color goes to the inside to make the star point. Line it all up. Okay, so I am just going to finger press this open and then add my, now there is going to be quite a bit of bulk right here, just because you've got all those half square triangles meeting. So you could do your seams open if you wanted to. That is strictly up to you to reduce a little bit of that bulk. I don't worry about it too much unless it's like really bad, but that's pretty normal and it happens a lot. So I'm gonna nest our seams here. Here. Make sure that's lined up. I'm going to nest that one. All right, we're going to turn her around and add our last row of star points. And then we will have this particular block done. I'm just, you know, some of these seams I had already pressed and I'm just kind of making them go where I want them to go. I will fix them when I press the block out, just so that I can get them to nest, hopefully. Go. Okay. Yay, it's done. Let's get this pressed open. And so what I've been doing with most of my blocks anymore, especially with these like this, when they got a lot of seams, is I'll come in here on the back side, I fix any seams I want to go that I needed to nest and kind of get them started where I wanted them to go. And then that way, when I flip it over to press it, it's a whole lot easier. So, and I've been using a lot of starch. You don't have to use starch. I like it. It just seems like it really flattens out a block, especially when you've got a ton of seams coming together and you got some really big bulky edges. And it should finish out at 12 and a half. And I'm kind of proud of myself on this one. Everything looks all good and straight. Yay! And yeah, there she is. All done. So that is the double square. That is so cute. This is going to make a really cool quilt. I just know it. Okay, so the double square, number 1, block number 1 in our series for our Mystery Star. So don't be afraid to go ahead and make up all your frames and get them ready and have, you know, all the pieces ready. Or you can just do them as you're doing the blocks every month. However you want to do it, it's up to you. We are, like I said, we're going to try to finish this up by October or September. That way everybody has time to get it put together and quilted for Christmas if you wanted to give it as a gift or whatever. So I will be doing probably one of these insert blocks every other week. If I get time and can do it every week, I will do it every week. We'll just see if we can get through this and get it done. So yeah, there's our first one. So thank you so much for joining me, and yeah, have a great day, guys. See ya.